Yes, good morning, students. Let us start the next topic, that is vapor pressure of pure liquid. Suppose you keep a liquid in an open vessel. What will happen? Slowly and slowly the molecules will evaporate and a stage will reach where you will find no molecules inside the container. That is, it will escape to the atmosphere. The molecules with the higher kinetic energy leave the surface of the liquid as vapor. As a result, the volume of liquid will decrease and the evaporation will go on increasing, and the stage will reach where you will not get a single molecule of air. It will become dry. Okay. So what inside the vessel, what is happening? Only the evaporation process is happening. But if we close the container, so then two processes will occur, one evaporation and also condensation will also occur. Okay, liquid will change into vapor and vapor will again come back to liquid state and condensation is taking place. Okay, so a stage will reach where the rate of the evaporation becomes equal to the rate of condensation. Rate of evaporation becomes equal to condensation, and when it will become this, we will say that a dynamic equilibrium is achieved. So suppose you are having water. What is the equilibrium? It is water liquid. It is in equilibrium with water. That is what? Vapor or gas. So if you draw a graph between rate and time, you will see this will be the condensation curve and this will be the evaporation curve, and you will get a straight line after that, and this is nothing but the equilibrium position. So the pressure exerted by the vapors at this stage is known as vapor pressure, or we can define the vapor pressure as the pressure exerted by the vapor of the liquid in equilibrium with the liquid at a given temperature is nothing but vapor pressure of the liquid. So it is independent of the amount of liquid, but it is dependent on what? Temperature. Or you can say vapor pressure is the measure of the escaping tendency of the liquid molecules. Now let us move to the next topic. What are the factors affecting the vapor pressure of the liquid? So this will be the first factor, always the nature will be the first factor. So depending on the nature of the liquid, magnitude of the intermolecular forces will depend upon the magnitude of the intermolecular forces between the molecules of the liquid. If the interaction between the molecules is weak, then the liquid will go readily into vapor. So equilibrium will be very high. If strong, the molecules will not very easily change into vapor. And therefore the vapor pressure here will be low. Here vapor pressure will be high. So if we draw a graph between vapor pressure and temperature, you'll see that the one different graphs for different liquids will get. Suppose this is water, this is ethyl alcohol, this is acetone, and so on. You'll see that the vapor pressure of the acetone is maximum as compared to water. So water has minimum vapor pressure, whereas acetone has maximum. If you see these three examples. Okay, so the vapor pressure depends upon the nature of the liquid. I hope you understood. Next, second factor is temperature of the liquid. So vapor pressure will increase with increase in temperature, so it will be directly proportional to temperature. Why? Because average kinetic energy will increase, and thus the molecule of the liquid will readily or easily change into vapor as will increase the temperature. So these two are the factors that are depending upon the affecting the vapor pressure of the liquid. Now vapor pressure of liquid solution. Liquid solution. So if we take two miscible volatile liquids, volatile means which can easily go into vapor form. So let vapor pressure is P1 and P2 of these two miscible volatile liquids. So according to the Dalton's pressure, what we can say that total pressure of that is vapor pressure, we can say that it is P1 plus P2. Okay. Let you know that the partial pressure is related to the mole fraction. Let the mole fraction of these two liquids are X1 and X2. So a French chemist in 1886 named François Martin Raoult gave a relationship between the partial vapor pressure of the volatile component and its mole fraction, that is the partial pressure and the mole fraction. Okay, and the law is known as Raoult's law. Important. It states that the partial vapor pressure of a volatile component present in the solution is directly proportional to the mole fraction. So what is the statement? That the partial vapor pressure of a volatile component, it is must volatile component present in the solution is directly proportional to the mole fraction of that component at a given temperature. temperature is important, because it is dependent upon the temperature also, vapor pressure. So this is the statement: the partial vapor pressure of the volatile component present in the solution is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the component at a given temperature. So it is an important law that is normally asked in the exams. So how can you express? P1 is directly proportional to x1, P2 is directly proportional to x2, and if you want to write the remove the proportionality, we need proportional constant. Let it be P1 not x1 and this be P2 not x2. Okay, so what we can say, this P1 not is the vapor pressure of pure component 1, and P2 not vapor pressure of pure component 2. Okay, so applying Dalton's law, we have written that P total is equal to P1 plus P2. So P total will be equal to P1 naught x1 plus P2 naught x2, or we know that for binary solution x1 plus x2 is equal to 1, or you can write x1 is equal to 1 minus x2. Putting the value of the x1, P total is equal to P1 1 minus x2 and P2 is plus P2 naught x2. Now we will further simplify it, or we can write, if you open the bracket, P1 naught minus P1 naught x2 plus P2 naught x2, or you can write P total is equal to P1 naught minus P2 minus P1 naught x2, or you can write, if this is y, this is equal to c, then c plus mx. Okay, so from the above this equation, what does it conclude? That total vapor pressure over the solution can be related to the mole fraction of only one component, means P total is related to only one component. Instead of taking x2 is equal to, if we take the value of x2 equal to 1 minus x1, then sorry, so P total will be what here? X1. So it will be dependent only on one component. Sorry. So total vapor pressure of the solution, it varies linearly. If you draw a graph, then you will get a straight line. P total is y, and this is suppose P2 minus P1, then you will get a straight line. So it is linearly. Second conclusion is that total pressure of the solution varies linearly with the mole fraction of component 2. Now come to the next topic. I hope you have understood, and we will go further. That is graphical representation of behavior of ideal solution. So we have seen that P1 is equal to P1 naught x1 and P2 is equal to P2 naught x2. So according to the Rawls law, these are the expression. So if you want to draw a graph, let x1 equal to 1. When x1 is equal to 1, then x2 will be equal to 0. And if x1 is equal to 0, then x2 will be equal to 1. So for this, if x1 is equal to 1, let this will be the vapor pressure and this will be, let it be the mole fraction. Okay, means we are plotting the graph between vapor pressure and mole fraction, and we are taking that if x1 equal to 1, then x2 will be equal to 0. x1 equal to 0 means x2 will be equal to 1. So here x1 decreases from 1 to 0 and here x2 decreases from 1 to 0. Okay, so if x1 is equal to 1, then vapor pressure will be equal to P1 naught, and if x2 equal to 1, then it will be P2 naught, and component 1, we are considering that component 1 is less volatile than component 2. So if you see the gap between here, you will increase the gap for P2 naught. Here this will be P1 naught, and you have to increase this. Why? Because P1 is less volatile as compared to P2. That is component 1. You write like this: component 1 is less volatile than component 2. So in this way we will plot the graph. So if we join these two, and if you join this will be what for P1, that is, let us take it as 1, then this will be for 2 and this will be 3. So this is for P1, this is for P2, and the total P total will be equal to third graph, that's P total will be equal to P1 plus P2. Very important. So how we will get these values? If x1 equal to 1, x2 equal to 0, we will get the value P1. If x1 equal to 1, x2 is equal to x1 is equal to 0 and x2 equal to 1, we will get P2 naught. How we are getting this value? Just if we put the value P1 equal to P1 naught x1. So when x1 equal to 1, P1 will be equal to P1 naught. Here P1, P2 is equal to x2, P2 naught. So here x2 equal to 1, so P2 will be equal to P2 naught. So we have plotted this graph. This is very important. The graphical representation of behavior of ideal solution is very, very important. You will get this question in the exam. Okay. I hope you have understood this. Once again I can explain that we are representing the behavior of the ideal solution, and you know that according to the law, if there are two components, according to the Rawls law, P1 equal to P1 naught x1 and P2 equal to P2 naught x2. So for drawing the graph, we are drawing the graph between vapor pressure and the mole fraction, and for one side you are considering x1 equal to 1, so x2 will be equal to 0, and the other side x1 equal to 0, x2 equal to 1. And if you put the values of P1 in this equation, then x1 equal to 1, so P1 equal to P0. Then for P2 equal to, so here you will get what? P2 for, in this side you will get P2 naught. And we are just, why you are keeping here less gap and here more? Because here component 1 is less voltage as compared to component 2. And then just connect the things and you will get the three graphs, P1, P2 and P total P1 plus P. So you have many equations that you will need for numericals, this one, both. I hope you have understood. Now just one more topic related to this, how Rolle's law is a special case of Henry's law. We have seen that according to Rolle's law, P1 equal to P1 naught x1. P1 is the vapor pressure of the pure component, x1 is the vapor pressure of the solution having mole fraction x1. For the solution of gas in liquid, okay, according to the Henry's law, we will write P equal to K H X. So what you see, it is the same as compared to the Rolle's law. Here P is the pressure of the gas, KH is the proportional constant known as Henry's constant, X is the mole fraction of gas. So if you compare the two, it's nothing but the same thing. This is for liquids and this is for gases. Only the difference is that here you are using the P1 not as the proportional constant, and here KH you are using as proportionality constant. So that's all for today.